Okay, Omri. Reeco. Let's talk about Reeco. It says on your website, streamline your purchasing process by buying from all your vendors in one place. Receive goods with our app, manage receipts digitally to track real-time food costs. Oh, recipes. I'm sorry. Manage recipes digitally to track real-time food costs. Easily audit inventory and make payments all within a single platform. Well, why don't we start off with what problem did you set out to solve?
Yeah, so I assume that most of the listeners are coming from hospitality in some way or another. So they should be aware that purchasing, receiving, inventory management, and recipe management, it's all done in a pretty old school way, to say the least. We're talking about purchasing that is done with jumping over multiple supplier websites, from food and beverage to cleaning. We're talking about fast moving goods usually. So multiple suppliers, or using punch outs, which is a pretty old school technology that was invented in 1999, but it's still dominant the market. So that's for purchasing. With receiving and inventory, you see lots of pen and paper and manual work. So those area of the back of the house where it's very dark and untouched, this is exactly where Reeco come into place and start to kind of bring more AI technology and really good service to make sure that everything is more streamlined.
So, why don't you describe your solution for us?
So probably the simplest way is that if you think about procure to pay, this is the definition. But starting with the actual flow of purchasing. So purchasing with Reeco, as the website mentioned, all your suppliers, the big broad line, the local ones, the mid-level, talking about food and beverage, cleaning, chemicals, liquor, every single thing you buy for your property is in one place. You don't need to jump around multiple solutions. You just do it with Reeco. Later, receiving is done digitally with us. So you really liaise on the process of kind of bringing all your data into one digital space. So purchasing and receiving, this is one component. Once you're done with that, you have your accounts payable with us. So instead of you wasting time on GL coding and inputting, by the way, this is a process that usually you spend per property about 800 hours every year, just GL coding manually and inputting that into an accounting software.
Yeah.
So with Reeco, basically what we did was you can push all your invoices in one place, and with AI, we start to learn your patterns, your coding pattern, personalize that for your property, for your management company. And basically, instead of you spending 8 to 10 minutes on every invoice, with Reeco, it's about 20 seconds. And everything is synced with your accounting software. So it's very easy and streamlined over there. So this is the second module. The third and fourth modules are the recipes and inventory. So with inventory, the biggest problem, as I mentioned, is everything is done with pen and paper. You walk around different storerooms. People guesstimate how much they have in terms of the product. The prices are not in real time. So you can count 5 apples, but if the price of the apple is not accurate, then the count doesn't mean much. So with Reeco, everything is digital. We have a mobile app. It works offline. And basically, you can walk around your storeroom, do the count. It's based, or it gets update in real-time prices from our purchasing module. So at least we save you 50% of your time, because you don't need to go and input all the all the paper or all the data that you wrote on the paper in the computer. So inventory is very big with Reeco. And the last one is recipes, which also same as inventory, done with pen and paper, very old school. With Reeco, you have one hub for all your recipes where all your property can use, and the prices get updated in real time. But more importantly, we connect with your POS systems, so we can show you in real time your food cost. We are the only one doing that, connecting both purchasing from all vendors and POS. Combining that with AI creates a wonderful solution.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you to describe your different, but do you think that that's what it is? You're the only one that's combining all those?
Yeah, so I think for every module, we really try to be close to the user, either the chef or the housekeeping manager, or even the customer itself, the management group, to build something very unique and kind of mind blowing. So I can tell you, for example, with purchasing, one of the biggest difference from Reeco to any software you see out there is that any software will give you a list of suppliers that you work with. Usually it's the broadline one, and they provide a technology where you will need to click on the supplier and then you will get the list of their products. Now with Reeco, it's the other way around. You first pick the products and then we do some optimizations so it picks the right supplier for you. Now, if you think about the process, it sounds easy. Okay, so instead of picking the supplier and then the product, you first pick the product and then the suppliers. But every supplier calls his product differently. So you have a nice apple, beautiful apple, lovely apple. And with Reeco, we can do apple to apple comparison because we built this big, huge, unified catalog that can let you do the comparison. So for purchasing, this is one thing. For inventory, I can tell you that we have some very cool technology that can do some forecasting and can really tell you what's going to be the count, can show you your prices, but also with liquor, you can use our slider to kind of count open bottles. So every single module has something very unique. And thanks to the robust technology that we're using behind the scene, we're able to do that pretty quickly. So we listen to the customer, and within a couple of days or weeks, you might have an entire customized solution that is helpful for others as well.
So, who is your ideal client?
So the best ideal customer for us will probably be management companies, because they have their own standards. So we're talking about management that have, let's say, 20, 30, 50, hundreds of properties, and they want to have more control on their properties. Even though, sorry, we're talking about hotels, and it can be great for country clubs and senior living and all that. Our focus right now is hotels. And specifically, we're talking about those who want to have more control over their all their operation. So if you have 40 properties and everyone is doing recipes manually, you don't have control of what's your food cost, or are you using the products or recipes or even the standards of the management group properly. Purchasing, sometimes you ask management groups how much you purchase per property, and they have no idea. They need to go over multiple websites, invoices, Excels, just to pull a simple number of how much you purchase food, beverage, liquor. And if you want to be more specific, this when it becomes a chaos where you want to do, I only want to know how much we spend on banana. So with Reeco, in a few clicks, you can figure that out.
What does onboarding look like?
So this is also something that we're very special about, because we saw before we started that all the other companies takes few months or even sometimes more than 1 year, year and a half. With Reeco, it's very simple. It takes less than 7 days. And the reason for that is because what we do is that we take 90 days of invoices. We have our ways and algorithms behind the scenes to match you up with your invoices to our catalog. So in 10 minutes, you have your entire store. Now, from that moment on, what you need to do is just training, which is probably an hour or two of training, where I sit with the people who are going to do the purchasing. And basically, it's plug and play. You're good to go. We're not changing your contracts. If you work with GPOs, we respect that. We're going to be agnostic to your contracts or any other relationship that you had before. So basically, it's you pass us the invoices, maybe inventory sheets, order guides. We even have a very nice way where you can take pictures of all your inventory, and we, based on that, build your storeroom. So we have some very unique, quick onboarding process.
That's awesome. Well, wrap us up with what our clients saying.
So our customers are very happy with streamlining their operation, as I said. I think the biggest understanding is that if you want to see real savings and real ROI on Reeco, you first need to figure the processes. And I talked about that in a different podcast where he says, if you want to do a little bit more of AI, or if you want to bring AI to your properties, you first need to figure out that you cannot do AI with pen and paper. you need to streamline and make sure that everything is in one single place. So the first probably month or two, this is where what we call lift and shift. This is where we bring your existing pen and papers into a digital space. And then after that, this is where the magic really starts to happen, where they start to see the data flowing and they can make more clever decisions just to make sure that they run efficiently, they save money. Even by raising the price of a recipe, it can be thousands of dollars every month per property. So this is the feedback that we're getting, and also for our service, because the two important visions that we have is, first of all, to give you the best service. We want to be the best service out there in this industry, a level or standards that no one else is doing. And you can see that with our receiving process, because if, for example, you report an issue with one of the products, you can easily say this product is missing, go back to do your things, and my customer success team that works 24/7 will mitigate the issue with you and the supplier. So customer service and top technology.
Well, it all sounds it sounds unique and sounds cool. I mean, yeah. So I want to thank you for joining me, Omri.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet.
Bye.